Fellow tennis nerds, I hope you are well. This is the review of the Nordic Dots Model 99 Generation 2. In this review you will hear from many different players who have tested this one.
Hello guys,
it can be good to use as many voices as possible so you get a different idea of playing styles and preferences and so on. Generation 2 is quite drastically different from Generation 1, which I really loved, but I had some issues with it that I mentioned in my review. It played like a pro stock, it had like a really nice plush feel, you got some power with it, it had pretty good control on flat shots, but at times with this progressive string pattern, I felt like if I was hitting it in the center, the ball would launch a bit, and up here with more control. So interesting idea, but it didn't really quite work out in practice. Also the isometric head shape or morph beam or whatever you want to call this can be tough to look at for tennis purists as myself. Sometimes I'm a tennis purist, sometimes I'm not. The new one have addressed all that stuff, comes with a little bit different layup, comes with a different mold, comes with a different string pattern. So definitely Generation 2, it's almost like a different racket completely. Here it is. As you can see, the string pattern is still 1620, but very much more evenly spaced. A lot more consistency here. The ball will go where you hit it to, and it will have a pretty high launch angle, similar to kind of an Aero 98, if that is your vibe, or in even a Gravity Tour 98. That's kind of the launch you get. You can generate a lot of spin. You can use your top spin here, and not as flat as the previous racket. For flat hitters that can be an issue, but for most players this is a benefit because you're getting a little bit of higher lift. This rounded head shape is something Henrik likened a bit to a shift, so it's a little bit more in that sense, a bit more of a traditional racket. Pretty forgiving, sweet spot, nothing crazy in terms of forgiveness. The Nordic Dots rackets are demanding but rewarding. They really feel like pro stock rackets in terms of the graphite, the material used. You get the specs beforehand. If you like a racket, you can choose the same spec, and they really offer that kind of a custom experience that you would like from pretty much all brands in tennis, but they do really offer it here. You get a stencil, you get a racket pocket, really high quality one, a set of strings. They really go all in to give you a good customer experience, and that's been my experience with Nordic Dots. I have tried all the rackets now, starting with Model 99 Generation 1, which was a good start, but not perfect. We had Model 100, which is giving you a little bit of a larger sweet spot than the 99, but still pretty low powered. It's more of a control player, moving the ball around. Then we moved over to the Pro and the S, the 98 square inch rackets. Big fan of the Pro because it had a very controlled launch angle. If you hit flat, it gives you a bit more pinpoint precision. It was my favorite 98 Pro with 1819 pattern. A little bit higher swing weight, penetrating shots. That's kind of how I like to play. The 98S was more for topspin players, a little bit firmer, a little bit more powerful. This one I feel like kind of marries all the elements of what makes Nordic Dots rackets good. It has a nice plush feel, like a really nice layup that feels pro stock. It has a dependable string pattern this time around, but it's gonna have a little bit of a higher launch. So for a flat hitter like me, you might still want to stay with the 98 Pro. But if you like any other Nordic Dots racket, I think this is just an evolution. This is probably their best racket yet. And you're going to hear from some of the guys here that have made a switch. These are advanced players. These are very strong players. But I also talk to tennis nerds around my level or below that really enjoy this frame and have switched from the previous Model 99 or the Model 100, for example. Definitely a must demo. I really like that they put all the care into the process. They put the specs on the sticker and on the box, and all that stuff makes me a returning Nordic Dots customer.
Now we're in here with Model 99 G2 from Nordic Dots, and honestly the first thing that struck me was the control plus the topspin that you can generate from this racket. You could swing very freely from both sides, which made me feel like I could really put a lot of speed on the ball while still maintaining that control through a lot of topspin. I felt like I could put a lot of shape on my forehand as well and really dictate the points from there. So in my opinion, I really think this racket suits both intermediate players but also advanced players that really wants to dictate the points with a lot of shape and topspin. yeah, really glad surprise. It's going to be a tough choice between the Model 100 and this now. But yeah, I would really recommend you giving this a try. Honestly, great racket. Has a clean look to it as well, like everything else coming from Nordic Dots. So give it a try.
What's up, tennis nerd fans? This is Ty Kwiatkowski giving a quick review of the new Nordic Dots 99 G2 racket. For me, it's my favorite of the Nordic Dots line so far. I really love the stability, but we still get a lot of pop. In my whole career, I used 18 and 20. This is 16 by 20, and it's certainly something I wish I had when I was playing on tour. Significantly more power than I was using before, but still retains all that stability, especially on my continental shots, volleys, slices. I use quite a bit of continental skills when I'm playing, so the slice is really important to me, that it's firm. And on my flat serve, that I'm able to get straight, just pop when I need it. I'm straining it at 52, and feels like it's perfect blend of comfort, but plenty of pop, and that control that, as a control freak, I have to have. So I advise you to give it a look, give it a try.
I just finished another session with the Model 99 G2, this beauty, and I absolutely love this racket. I feel like I have so much control from the baseline without compromising the power or maneuvering of the ball. I have great depth, and I just feel like overall it's such a great racket. I would recommend everyone to give it a try.
Hello guys, it's me, Adri. Hope you're all well. I'm currently here at the Oeiras Challenger in Lisbon, Portugal. Beautiful clay courts back here. And yes, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my racket switching from the 98S to the 99 G2. It really felt like I connected with it, it was like an extension of my arm. The feel, the explosiveness, the response on the ball coming off the frame. Overall, it just felt really good. I felt like I could apply some more spin, although the 98S is a 1619 frame and this is a 1620, but with this one being a slightly larger head size, I felt like I could get a little bit more spin, as well as the racket feels more aerodynamic going through the air, which I like a lot, and the stiffness rating also, I felt like really smooth, very good. I would say the responsiveness of the ball off the string is great. I like to stand a little bit further back and spin the ball and kind of rip the ball, and I felt like the ball can do what I wanted to do, which is a great feel, because then I really trust my ball, I trust the racket. See you guys.
I'm here with Adam today. You've tried pretty much all Nordic Dots rackets so far with me. What do you think about this one?
This one was by far my favorite. I think we tried the 100 early on, and then a lot of variations of the 98, which I think there was something there for everyone.
Yeah.
I will start out by saying that I don't think this racket is for everyone, but for people who like these kind of flexible, whippy, versatile rackets, this is the winner.
Yeah.
And it was, for me, it was the winner of the lineup. I got enough power with enough control that I felt comfortable to fully swing out. For both sides, forehand, I would say it is a little fluttery up at the top.
Yep.
Like you get, in my opinion, the right amount of bend.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you drop it short, but you get control when you're under pressure. And a lot of players will like that. Maybe not the more modern player,
Yep.
but
They would like maybe a bit stiffer framing.
but it was similar enough to a blade, where I think a blade player could transition easily to this.
Yeah, it has maybe a little bit more pop than a blade compared to the new blades that we tried as well.
Yeah.
I think this one has a little bit more power, but it's still like within the control segment. And good to point out about Nordic Dots frames. They go for a little bit of like a pro stock vibe, so they're kind of demanding but rewarding when you hit the sweet spot. So
Right.
It's not going to be like a pure drive or e-zone. This is a racket that requires a little bit more from the user, but if you manage to find the sweet spot, then you can play really good tennis with them.
Yeah, it's quite an open string pattern for 16 by 20, which I really like. I used to use an old Yonex 16 by 20. I think it's a great string pattern. Static weight seemed low to me, but I didn't really feel it.
It's 300 grams. So for you, like playing TF40, you would probably bump it up a little bit to get a bit more mass on the ball.
Yeah, probably. But again, I think the swing weight was close to perfect.
Yeah, it's 330 almost. So it's
it's 330.
yeah.
I tried it side by side with the Wilson blade. The 16x19 was pretty close, but I meshed a little more with this one today.
Yeah. Coach Adri on the channel is also switching to this one. It looks absolutely stunning. For me, might be a little bit tricky to dial in sometimes if I go flat, like with an ISO 98, then you get a more flat, low trajectory. But if you shape the ball, then you get really nice, nice like flex in the sweet spot and in the string bed. And you could really shape your balls well. Like you hit some really good shots with this one.
Yeah, it was a comfortable racket overall, and that's the kind of racket that I like. I would say it plays similar to the Pro Kenix, the Black Ace Pro, and that's probably why I like it. Again, that's a racket that's not for everyone, but yeah, something quite special.
Yeah, and cosmetic, you would go this silvery, or you would go like glossy black?
I think I like the silver. I think the glossy black may be a little overplayed. I think this is unique and a fresh look on rackets. So
for sure, I think
doing.
This one stands out in a good way. Like it's classy, it's clean. I think they do this well. And always with Nordic Dots, you get the like specs on the box, you get the specs on the plastic before you remove it. So, and if you want to buy more rackets, they will send you a racket that matches your specs. Which that's I think one of the big selling points is like that you can actually get like a custom experience and. Getting the same specs is tough. I mean, if you're buying 3 pure drives or 3 blades, you don't really know what you're going to get. So
thanks, fun test.
Yes, by looking on the hitting surface, doesn't it remind me pretty much of the Wilson Shift? I think it looks like a bit like the Shift form on the surface. I remember when you brought the first generation 99, and it was a prototype from Nordic Dots, and that was a really wow feeling. Because it was such a unique feel, it was pro stock and it had pretty much everything. A little bit erratic string pattern though, because of the differences. Because this is much more predictable. It's a normal string pattern.
Yeah, so 1620 pattern, but the pattern is so different that it looks like it's 1619 right now, right?
Yeah, I was actually pretty sure it was 1619. It feels like a 1619 pattern. It doesn't. Mm-hmm. It's pretty open, so it gives you spin as a 1619. It's not that dense at all because the strings is pretty spaced out here. So it feels like a 1619. It plays like a 1619. It has really good spin, good control though. Pretty good flex. It's flexible. It's glossy, of course, and it feels really good in the hand. I've been using it quite a lot. It reminds me a little bit of the same characteristics as the Pure Aero 2023 version. I would not say it's wild, but you get good spin, good power, and you have to control the power because it's for a 99-inch racket. It has a lot of power. It's a pretty aggressive racket, and it also moves pretty fast through the air. So it does everything. It doesn't have any real flaws. So don't be scared of the 1620 string pattern because, as I said, I thought it actually was 1619. I had to count it. So it plays like a 1619 with really good. It's a offensive spin baseline racket, so to say, controlled spin baseline racket.
Yeah, I feel like it's a racket where I need to kind of adjust my swing a little bit, similar to the Aero in what it produces. I agree with that. That it's like the launch is pretty high, so I need to maybe hit more down on the ball with my game. I'm saying I like to hit the ball flat and take the ball early. That's kind of my style of playing. And for me, like the 98 Pro and the ISO 98, these types of rackets usually work a bit better for me.
As you said, this is a pro stock feel racket. This is like a Wilson H22 or something, or like a head pro stock, because it feels like customized. It feels like the material, the layup is really like high quality. Because this is a racket I could play with. I normally play with a lot with the Model 100. I don't need to think. I just hit the ball with the Nordic Dots Model 100 when I have a tight match and don't want to jeopardize it. I use the Nordic Dots Model 100 and it feels like home for me. That's my go-to racket, so to say. But this one is also something that I could easily consider to use more and maybe have as a go-to racket, because it's a little bit, I would say, more spinful, more spin than the Model 100, but maybe not the same control as the Model 100, something like that. But it's a good racket, good for players that hits a lot slice and a lot with spin. So I really like it. It's better for my game than the Generation 1 or the Model 99. It's more much more predictable than the first generation of Model 99. And yeah, it's a totally different racket.
It's a little bit of a gravity Tor 98 meets Aero 98 kind of racket. If you like blades, if you like gravity tours, this is something you have to try, I think, because it's a very nice playing racket. I like it, but it's not a switcheroo for me. I feel like I play a bit better with the 98 Pro and prefer the denser string pattern. This plays a little bit more like a 16-19 pattern, like Henrik said. But if you like a little bit of spin and launch, this should be the frame for you in the Nordic Dots lineup. I think it's the most refined one yet. Check it out. We have a discount code, that's TennisNerd15 for 15% off your purchase. That's for any Nordic Dots product. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day now, and don't forget to play some tennis.